I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts!
I power walk down to that pile of gummy bears and back. I should probably set the pile out further, or closer, so I can get at them. My feet so fat I can't get into my roller skates, and my neck and chest don't fit anymore. Look at this. It's a stick-up. It don't work. I do this at a bank robbery, I look like a fool.
He'll look like a fool. Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Power Up Podcast. How'd you like a lot of those clips coming in hot right at the intro? I've been toying around with the idea with playing clips whenever like we can reach maybe like a subscription goal or anything like that, like 5 subscription. Go over on Rumble, play like a Norm Macdonald clip, which I actually have one set up here, a new one that's hasn't been played on the show before. So maybe between YouTube and Rumble, if we get maybe like 5 super chats or 5 subscriptions over on Rumble, I'll play that one. But I think it'd be fun to kind of spice it up and have like a bin of like Norm Macdonald jokes and all that stuff that I enjoy, pop culture. And whenever we reach a goal, we play it, get a good laughs out and everything. I think it'd be. If you're new to the show, what we do talk about pop culture. We keep our minds up to date and sharp about what's going on in the pop culture entertainment here, I guess you could say. And this can range from anything like your video games, your anime, manga, movies, TV shows, trading cards, whatever joy. With the goal, again, to keep our minds up to date and sharp, and to keep a lookout of what things need to be removed and cleaned up by the entertainment field, because a lot of DEI woke garbage being inserted into there. I think it's slowly being rooted out and hopefully burned forever. Heck, could be thrown into the lake of fire for all I care. But this show also is hopefully just reminds people that we can be entertained for entertainment's sake, and we enjoy that nostalgic feeling, and hopefully rekindle that, because flame is dying. But like I said, I think it's coming back. And if not, in terms of what we remember from the past, new things being created that actually cares about telling a good story or showing art, all that fun stuff. So if you enjoy that, make sure to like and subscribe. Right now we're on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Those are usually the 3 platforms that I do for this show, the Power Up Podcast. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I recently going to be taking some classes here in terms of learning coding, specifically medical coding, all that stuff. So I don't know if my schedule will change, but we're going to be running hard at that. So just keeping an eye out. But I still want to do the show, still want to do game stream stuff. Like I said, I don't think that's going to be going anywhere. But something new that's happening, a new change of pace. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So definitely could sure use some prayers for that. Heart. Unlock my mind to absorb all that knowledge. It'll be fun. But we got some articles raring to go. Lots of stuff happening while it always feels like I'm away for a certain amount of time. But we got a bunch of different stuff. Kind of the main things that are popping around is new Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer just dropped. We've got some other stuff like Gears of War is actually coming to PlayStation. Crazy. Back in the day, we would never think about something like that, but it's happening. And I see someone subscribed over at Duck over on YouTube, Duck Jip Knight. Thanks for the subscription over there. Appreciate it. And we got some fun articles, crazy articles. So let's hop into this. Go. Let's go. Follow me, everybody. So I thought this was kind of funny. That is, Japanese games are successful because they can only be developed in Japan, says ex PlayStation boss. That would be Yoshida. According to this, says Japanese games do well because they embrace local culture. Ouch. Ouch. That hurts us Westerns so much. And actually, it's probably true. I think a lot of people over here love Japanese games, like manga as well and anime, because they're at least they can produce a story. Stuff that's happening, like in your comics and your recent Star Wars trilogies, I guess you could say, or recent Star Wars, not trilogies, I should say, series and whatnot. They are they're terrible, and they're missing the point of everything because they don't want to put any actual work or talent into it. They just think that they can just control C everything that has been established and think people will just go ahead and eat it up, which is not true. Not true at all. So many of the Japanese studios have seen immense growth over the years. The games produced, this comes from the site Tech for Gamers, by the way. The games produced in the land of the rising sun have proven to be quite popular in the entire gaming industry, and the ex PlayStation boss argues that it's because of a very simple fact. This would be Shuhei Yoshida stating this. He claims that Japanese games are simply successful because they can only be developed in the country by locals who understand their culture very well. Now, I agree with that statement, but I think over here it's not so much that the West doesn't understand their culture. It's that they're trying to push a culture that is not based in reality and really doesn't represent the country as a whole. But because of that, these weirdos think that these specific people of this culture should have this say in everything for whatever reason you want to give. When the fact is that every opportunity to succeed in the American culture is available to do it. But these people want to just give handouts. That's part of what I'm seeing. But anyway, let's take a look further into the article. Ooh, look at that. Like a dragon. Look at that. Look at him playing a Hagen. Looks like whoosh. So Shuhei Yoshida claims that Japanese games have been so popular in the industry because they embrace their local culture instead of trying to westernize or generalize for everybody. Yes, this right here. I mean, I would have taken issue with trying to westernize it because the thing is that the westernization of things uh isn't what it should be in terms of that. Like remember back in your 80s, your 90s movies, your western, like for example, Bruce Lee was heavily influenced by western boxing, I believe. But he incorporated the kicking into that, or maybe just what maybe not so much. I believe he definitely did boxing, but maybe more so like your western stuff like that. In fact, there was a post I saw on X where like a Japanese individual was like really enjoys like cowboys and that western stuff. Now that is something that's I think is cool and I think definitely can we can share that together and combine it together. But what the bastardization that's happening in the AAA studios over here in Western, of course, I can understand why they don't want to try to westernize their sure, and definitely the generalization for everyone. That's 100% for sure. You can't please anyone, and this is also the fact of what was so wrong of how things were done in the past in terms of like creating games? The answer is, of course, there was nothing wrong with it, except we let a bunch of tourist weirdos and activists infiltrate it and then kick out everything else because they need to restructure everything for the greater good. Hence why a lot of people are wanting to go back to gatekeep to make sure that those individuals never get to touch anything and ruin established franchises that actually worked really hard to get to where they are and were already diverse enough. So, in an interview with PlayStation Inside, Yoshida-san elaborates that the Japanese industry was saved because it embraced what made it stand out amid the crowd and presented its identity to the world. The recipe for the rediscovered success of Japanese video games is to have been able to return to the development of games that can only be made in Japan by Japanese people. For those not in the know, the Japanese gaming scene severely declined during the PS3 era when many local developers chased Western trends. However, Nier Automata, released in 2017, finally turned things around for the industry. The action RPG was successful because it embraced Japanese storytelling that massively appealed to gamers, promoting local culture that a norm for Japanese developers since. And the thing is because they focused on that, Western audiences like to see what they think, likes to see stories tell to people who understand their culture and stuff. That's why there was such a huge backlash to Assassin's Creed Shadows, because they are claiming that they understand the history of Japanese culture, but have the audacity to pick someone who has so little information about him simply because he's black. And during that time with all the George Floyd bullshit, said, you know what? Whatever we were doing before, we're dropping that and we're going to focus on this guy because, quote, we want to tell it from this person's perspective. Well, no one asked for it. And, it was just a trend that a lot of people hopped on it, a lot of it for, money's sake, in terms of the whole George Floyd riots and all that stuff, i.e., meaning the whole Black Lives Matter. So Yoshida-san also adds that no studios can succeed by copying other formulas. Instead, it's better to introduce cultures to the gaming industry. Now that's very interesting because this is exactly what people who have no business being inside the gaming industry do. And not only do they suck at it, like they suck at the basic concept of copying formula. Like that's how terrible these people are because they're not creative. They just got in there because they filled the DEI checkbox. You think Japanese games are successful because of their local culture, or is it something else makes them stand out from titles? Pretty much an open-ended question. I think it's because a lot of people like seeing, other cultures around the world. It doesn't just have to be Japanese. The thing is, though, is it told in a unique way, or I don't want to say, yeah, well, unique works. I wouldn't want to say original because technically what is original nowadays, but but a lot of people have no problem wanting to learn about other cultures out there. It's when it becomes forced and clearly becoming forced when people get annoyed. 'Cause there are plenty of games out there that do, you know, share a certain country's culture besides Japanese. Nope, gotta force it. So this article caught my eye. So hopping on over to Niche Gamer here, this is hilarious. So the Robin Hood film censored apparently to remove anti-establishment intro message. This is retarded. So a newly discovered case of censorship has struck the Ridley Scott directed Robin Hood film from over a decade ago. I think I remember watching this, and the title of this is misleading because, spoiler, he doesn't become Robin Hood, I believe, until the very end of the movie. Like, it's, if anything, it's Robin of Locksley is who you watch, and he becomes Robin Hood at the end. But this film, which is now apparently streaming on Amazon Prime, has been censored. The intro to the film has quietly had its anti-establishment message removed from the Amazon Prime platform, hilariously leaving the pages blank with no exposition before the film begins. So we've got pictures right here. So up top is the original. Times of tyranny and injustice when law oppresses the people, the outlaws takes its place in history. The original description reads England at the turn of the 12th century was such a time. Here's a comparison. And this is what they show before or after. Yeah. That's really
Gay.
oh boy. All right, I'm paranoid. Okay, no, it's working. Sweet. Cool. So originally released back in 2010. Dang. In theaters and directed by Ridley Scott under his Scott Free Productions, the 2010 adaptation of The Legend of Robin Hood starred Russell Crowe, titular rogue and hero. Reportedly had a $150 to $37 million budget and earned over 321, I'm assuming $1 million at the box office. I like how it earned over $321 at the box office. I'm assuming they meant to add million because that would be absolutely terrible if they only made 300. But this is what we're talking about. Like, why does the censorship need to take place? What is the big deal? Like, again, these companies are listening to the weak-spirited people. And these are the people who don't even know what gender they are or refuses to accept what gender they are. Don't know what women are. And yet we're supposed to let them like kind of lead us into, a new time in humanity. It's ridiculous. No. This is straight up censorship. Straight up censorship and shouldn't be tolerated. I don't know if anything's going to change, but a nice catch by Niche Gamer or whoever discovered it. So I thought this was interesting. This comes from Video Game Chronicles here. A new Echo the Dolphin game is coming, as well as remasters of the first two games. So a new Echo the Dolphin game coming. Echo creator Ed Anozuyada was interviewed on the official Xbox Wire website as part of an article celebrating Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Oh gosh. Anyway, so Ed, who created and designed the first two Echo the Dolphin games on Mega Drive/Genesis and produced its spin-off aimed at a younger players, Echo Jr., was asked what the future holds for the Echo series. Me and the entire original team are going to remaster the original Echo the Dolphin and Tides of Time games, he replied. Then we will make a new third game with contemporary play and abilities. Ed also directed players to, quote, stay tuned, Echo the Dolphin website, which currently shows a countdown clock. Clock is currently counting down to April 25th, 2026. So the original Echo the Dolphin was released December of 1992. It was praised for its detailed graphics and atmospheric soundtrack. It also gained notoriety for its difficulty. This is true. I never played the Echo the Dolphin series, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll dabble into it, but yeah, I heard it was really hard. So it was followed by a sequel that would be Echo the Tides of Time, which was released on the Mega Drive Genesis in 1994 with a Sega CD release a few years later. After the release of spin-off game Echo Jr., the series remained dormant for a while until Sega and developer Appaloosa Interactive released Echo the Dolphin Defender of the Future on Dreamcast and later PS2. Oh gosh, Defender of the Future. Ed had no involvement in this new game, 3D adventure rather than his 2D side scroll games. So here's an image. What Echo looks like. Look at him. Look at him. There's just orca whale right there. Or is that a killer whale? Oh, that's a killer whale. So back in 2013, Anunuziata, a hard name to pronounce, who didn't have the rights to the Echo the Dolphin IP, attempted to crowdfund a spiritual successor called The Big Blue. This was ultimately unsuccessful. Unsuccessful. Ah. Undeterred, he settled a lawsuit with Sega in 2016, which appeared to potentially open the door again for a new Echo title. Following the release of his Switch game Space War Arena in 2019, Ed said in an interview that he wasn't giving up, saying, "When I was trying to convince Sega about Echo the Dolphin, it took me years to get them to bite. There are some challenges I need to overcome, but eventually there will be new Echo." So if you're a fan of Echo the Dolphin, a new one's coming that you can visit the website to see a countdown of a clock. Oh my god. I'm just like combining everything together. Just look at him. Isn't he adorable? Got little stars on his head. The sonar. Oh gosh, yeah, this is another thing that everyone's talking about. So the Last of Us Part 2 series is just like trailing downhill, like terribly, just absolute garbage. And the recent thing, we now have uh the latest, I guess, episode involves gender ideology, lesbianism, and talking about being a dad. When anyone who hears the word dad, we immediately think of a male father figure, but not The Last of Us. This comes from Fandom Pulse. The YouTuber That Star Wars Girl, aka Anna, reacted to a recent scene from HBO's Last of Us TV show that promotes gender ideology and lesbianism as quote insanity. In a post to X, she shared a screenshot from the show that depicts Bella Ramsey's Ellie describing herself as a quote dad after it's revealed that the girl she's in a disordered relationship with is pregnant. That Star Wars Girl commented, "GFC, this insanity needs to stop. Women can't and never will be dads, period. If you disagree, you need serious psychiatric help." And I think with Anna, she's especially attuned to this. I believe she recently just had a child, which is awesome. Congrats. But yeah, this insanity definitely stop. And don't forget, this is what everyone was like going apeshit about for The Last of Us Part 2 game came out, is Neil Cuckman's obsession of just having every cliche of wokeism being inserted into that game and killing off anything that remotely hinted of part one in terms of continuing that story. Killed Joe right away. Um, Spent the entire game seeking revenge, only to put to pussy out right at the end. With a retarded scene of, well, revenge doesn't work on both sides. It's like, oh my gosh, like, dude, you're so unoriginal with that. So many better revenge stories, I'm sure, out there that maybe have that message in there, but told so much better. So in a follow-up post, she shared the clip on this of the scene that sees Ramsey's Ellie say, "So we're having a baby. I mean, we also, I guess." Well, why don't we just play it? I've already played it once, and the acting is terrible. So be prepared, even worse.
So we're having a baby. I mean, we and also, I guess, Jesse here. It was Jesse, right?
Now I don't know what's going on, but again, why even sleep with the dude if you're just not going to remember who he is?
So we're all having a baby.
Gosh, that acting, dude, that's psycho eyes. Look at that. Ugh.
Holy shit. I'm gonna be a dad.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Oh. He reiterated, sorry, but this insanity needs to stop. Women can't, never will be dads, period. If you disagree, you need, like, Patrick, help. Dear Lord. This is absolutely retarded. This is dumb. And you know what immediately what should have been said right after this?
Shut up, bitch!
That should have been. So this scene is obvious propaganda in an attempt to not only normalize lesbianism, but to also normalize gender ideology that claims men can be women and women can be men. It also shows that LGB cannot be separated from the T, as Dr. Edward Fesser argued back in 2018. In fact, he notes that the T is a logical progression from LGB. Oh my gosh. No, it's a degression. The de-evolution from going from reality to retardedness. He wrote on X in 2023, however, it was not a detour, but a logical progression. LGB inevitably led to T and all the rest, and ultimately they stand or fall together. I don't really know what he's getting at, but you actually know where the queer theory comes from. It literally comes from PDF mentality. We'll just put it. That's the thing they don't want to admit. So in November of 2024, he added in response to Nacy Mace the premise that led to LGBT have T as a further consequence. Accept the former and you must accept the latter. Reject the latter and you must reject the former. Logically speaking, it's a package deal, as I argued here. Furthermore, in January, he noted that LGB without the T shtick going to become standard in the new conservatism evolved before our eyes. It's a delusion. The T is a consequence of the same premise that led to the LGB. They stand, okay, like, okay, so we get it. He's reiterating the same thing. So, okay, I understand what he's getting at. Originally, I was like, what are you talking about? In terms of like, that I guess he's like, yeah, pretty much reject everything. Fortunately, the scene is not surprising, given one of the show's directors revealed during the show's first season that the show was intended to trick people to accept sodomitic relationships. Peter Hoare told in Verse in 2023, sometimes you have to sort of trick the rest of the world into watching these things before they're like, oh my God, it was two guys. Oh yeah, that retarded gay scene with Nick Offerman, actor, whatever his name is. I think then they might understand that it's all real. It's just the same love. It is not the same love. Nope, not even remotely close. That's another thing they try to redefine what love is, where love is love, which is like, no, not at all. God has determined what love is because he created it. Ramsey here revealed to GQ magazine that the show would feature a plethora of acts of grave depravity. She said, I know people will think what they want to think, but they're going to have to get used to it. If you don't want to watch the show because it has gay storylines, because it has a trans character, that's on you and you're missing out. Wow. I can guarantee you that I am not missing out, especially the ratings that are happening now. So you are literally admitting that it's degeneracy to the max, and you're trying to boast of like, well, you're missing out on. It's like, dude, like if you're trying to convince us that what's going to be in the show is like what we can see, like during a gay pride parade, we've seen it and we don't want it. It isn't going to make me afraid. I think that comes from a place of defiance. She added. Who the hell? Who is this? Who's talking? Peter Hoare, Ramsey herself. Oh, what's her face? Her, who doesn't even look like Ellie. Based on that clip alone, I can already tell is a unconvincing acting style. And everyone's making fun of her because she there's like a still screen of like her shooting or something, and just kind of has that Rachel Zegler like face. And it's always this too. It always comes out that like whenever there's someone who unfortunately gets dealt the deal of not being the most attractive person out there, which I'm sure there's someone out there finds her attractive, which is fine. But like it's because they probably feel like they'll never find that person that they have to be, oh, I'm non-binary or whatever, but they have to make whatever. And it's like, dude, you can find them. Like, but this hardly doesn't work out. And if whenever you see something like that, something's happening behind. Jumping back over to Niche Gamer. So I'm kind of indifferent. Like I love Gears of War. So and we have a Gears of War Reloaded announced. And it looks like it's going to be a new remastered version of the original Gears of War. Now the question is, once again, this is where we have to like put up our feelers, I guess. What do they mean by remaster? Like, are they rebuilding it from the ground up? So is it a legit remake? Now, I feel like I know what the difference between remake and a remaster is, but I feel like sometimes the term gets interchanged. And if it is a remastered, are they going to be true and keep everything as it was back in the day? Because if they're going to be changing some, that's going to be bullshit. Sorry if you just heard a loud cracking noise. Trying to pull out a Kleenex and what's up, Komanga Gears of Gore? Yep. Woo! Been like raining for the past couple days and like the nose is stuffy as heck. But I loved Gears of War back in the day. I played Gears of War with my friends. Uh, a good chunk. Sorry. Oh gosh, I think for me for just a second. Oops, wrong setup. No, we're good now. I looked over real quick and I could have sworn I had a gigantic like piece of snot hanging out. So that's gonna be fun content right there. But we're good now. Anyway, so yeah, Gears of War Reloaded. Now I remember playing the first Gears of War and like that game was like, super bloody. Like I remember like they kind of changed Afrin Gang Rise Up, says Ted Cruz Zodiac Killer over on Rumble. Now I remember the first Gears of War game, like the headshots were insane. Like you actually saw like skull popping out of the skin and stuff. And then from there, they changed it going, further down the road to where it's just standard. The head just becomes mist sort of thing. So I am interested to see the remaster. But again, what exactly, like how remastered is it going to be? And will it like just keep everything that's in the original? So it's in development. Will be for Steam or the Microsoft Store, Xbox Series XS, and the big one that everyone's kind of salty about is PlayStation 5. As we all know, God of War was exclusively Xbox 360 and Xbox for quite a while. So, a lot of people kind of salty about that. I personally don't care at this point. Remaster will be on the Xbox Game Pass from day one. Here's a rundown. So, going to feature 4K resolution, 120 FPS support, and the ultimate multiplayer experience with cross progression and crossplay across all platforms. This is the definitive way to experience the game that started it all. As long as everything remains intact, then yeah, we approach the 20th years of Gears in 2026. We reflect on what this franchise means, about the stories we told, the friendships we built. Well, 1 through 3 and Judgment Day were good. The rest was garbage. I didn't even bother continuing it because they try to shift everything to characters we don't care about. And the unforgettable moments we shared together. Gears of War Reloaded, we're opening that door to more players than ever. So, getting that multiplayer looks like it's going multi-platform. Well, doesn't look like it. It is. Straight up stated it up above. So there's a bunch of stuff of what it's going to be on. My question is it going to be on GOG? Because I like to actually own it if I'm going to digitally buy it. So I can have installers offline. Includes the full breadth of content from the Unlimited Edition, delivering the most complete version of the game to date. Gain immediate access to all post-launch downloadable content and no additional costs. This includes a bonus campaign act, all multiplayer maps and modes, and a full roster of classic characters and cosmetic unlockables through progression. It's built for shared play, whether you're teaming up on split screen or jumping online. Oh, nice. It actually has a split screen mode. I remember playing that. The campaign supports, although I would play it separate whenever I went over to my friend's place. The yeah, we get this. 2-player co-op versus multiplayer allowing up to 8 players. We get it. Signing in with a Microsoft account unlocks full cross-platform functionality. It enables cross-progression, so your campaign and multiplayer also allows you to send invites, play with friends across platforms like Xbox to PlayStation or Steam to Xbox. Wait a minute. So it's only specifically tied to a Microsoft account? Does that mean you have to sign up for a Microsoft? Like, I already have one. I guess it's not really a big, but still. But here you go. Being re-engineered to look and feel incredible. So your 4K resolution, 60 frames per session, FPS in campaign, 120 in multiplayer, high dynamic range, your nice audio, your spatial audio, variable refresh rate, 4K assets and master texture, enhanced post-processing visual effects, improved shadow and reflection, super resolution with improved anti-alias. I think I said alias. Alias, zero loading screen during campaign. Dang, that's going to be pretty crazy. Go from faster frame rates to visual fidelity. Every detail is tuned to bring the original game into the present with clarity, smoothness, and immersion. Matches the power of today's hardware. Here you go. Then it's just going on talking about how Gears of War Reload will be free to upgrade for players who purchase the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition prior to today's announcement. You must have it purchased by May 5th. All right, so literally already missed it. Well, that sucks. But I have the rare replay disc version, so I should still get a free copy. Get turds. But this looks awesome. Manga, all that jargon. Yeah, pretty much. We get the gist though. However, with this being announced, hopping over to Tech for Gamers, Xbox fans are upset with the Reloaded releasing on PlayStation. Xbox has been chasing the new multi-platform strategy for a while because of changing console market conditions. However, the company has now also announced that the upcoming Gears of War Reloaded will launch on PS5. While expected, the reveal still came as a shock to many loyal Xbox fans who did not expect a massive franchise connected with the brand for decades to suddenly go multi platform. Therefore, many console users have taken to social media to express their disappointment. Going to be relaunching or launching on PlayStation 5 means that yet another notable Xbox brand will not be associated with it because of the strict implementation of the multi platform strategy. So here's a bunch of clips of people being salty. Also, the social media posts are filled with slogans like Xbox is dead. Well, this is true. Xbox, I think, is quite dead as they lament the loss of another major exclusive. Users are also asking why the brand is not working on bringing PlayStation titles or third party games like Phantom Blade Zero to its console instead. Gamers have decided not to buy the next Xbox console in retaliation because they don't see a point when all first party games will be available on other platforms anyway. This is very true. And who knows what Xbox is thinking in terms of being smart about that. But I don't know. Fans think that after Forza Horizon 5 and Gears of War, Halo remains the only pillar exclusive to the Xbox platform. However, it will likely be the next massive franchise headed to the PlayStation 5 as per rumors. And I honestly think that's going to be true. So I do think that in the end, Xbox is truly dead because it really doesn't matter anymore. So going back to Video Game Chronicles, Nintendo is going to get away with game key cards due to nostalgia, says developer. I think a lot of people has been saying that, but the majority of currently announced third-party Nintendo Switch 2 games will use game key cards, which is absolutely stupid. Nintendo will quote get away with quote end quote using its controversial new game key card system due to the nostalgia players have for the brand. And I stated that when talking about the Switch 2 that a lot of people are going to be buying it just for nostalgia reason. As according to Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed 3, and Revenge of the Savage Planet director Alex Hutchinson was given his opinion on Switch 2's new game keycard system, under which some games will require a download rather than being playable from the cartridge itself. I hate it, said Hutchinson in an interview with Video Gamer. I think it's sort of lame. I don't know. I just feel like it's getting away. We're losing some of what made the business special. Trading Game Boy cartridges at school or, DS for the modern audience. That's something nice about there's something nice about that. Dude, Hutchinson, don't beat around the bush. Call it out for what it is. They do not want you to physically own games anymore. They want everything to be digital. They can control things. Funny that Nintendo is going to get away with it, Hutchinson continued. It just shows you the power of nostalgia in our business, that the way they will beat up Microsoft versus Nintendo is just not the same, especially in Europe. It's like, oh, Nintendo's doing it. All right, we're not going to say much. Hutchinson's latest game, the co op sci fi adventure Revenge of the Savage Planet, is out on consoles and PC this week. So, game key cards are Nintendo's new branding for cartridges that still require the game to be downloaded from the Switch 2 online store before the game can be played. Cartridge doesn't contain the game data, rather, it's simply a key that enables a download code. Yeah, it is absolutely insane because technically, still, when you have a physical game, it had to, like, it still has some of the data, but then it has to go and unlock all the other data. And Nintendo thinks they're so damn clever. Like, they literally just reversed it. They just reversed it to where, okay, we're not giving you all the data anymore, just the one code that will then go online and read everything. And then it'll digitally install it. Like, it's so retarded. Game key cards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data, Nintendo's own description says. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. How about when I buy the game, the key is that I own the full fucking game? There's the key. Like, the key was found years ago, and that is have the whole game on a disc or a game cartridge or a floppy disk or whatever era, you know, where media storage was available at the time. Hate this. Oh, manga. Yeah, you said it right. Will own nothing and you will be happy. Yeah. Stupid. Frustrating. Garbage. Game key cards are different from regular games because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, okay, we already read all that. Instead, the game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key. Why? See, again, it doesn't make any sense. Why do you still need to insert the game key card in your system? It should have all the data. And starting it up like a standard physical game card. Dude, oh, this is what I think this is probably the biggest thing that annoys me. Like, never mind the price spike on it. Like, this garbage right here is 100% scummy business practice, and it's a ripoff. It's literally how games like beyond, your current games is set up, except they literally, again, they switched it around to where buying a physical game has a lot of the data on it, but it still needs to go on and get some stuff. Now this is where it's like, well, you don't even have any of that. You're literally buying a game cartridge at like an empty game cartridge at full price, as far as I'm concerned. That's what you're doing. Why, again, I will own the key and then set it free. LOL. Exactly. And start playing it like a standard physical game cartridge. Except it's not, you the garbage. It's not. If it was a standard physical game card, it would have the whole damn game on said card. So far, the vast majority of third-party Switch 2 games are game key cards, with only a few exceptions, such as Cyberpunk 2077 and the Western version of Daemon X Machina, Titanic Thicon. Game preservationists have come out against the system, calling it disheartening. Well, dude, be more assertive than that. Don't just be like disheartening. It's bullshit. Say it right into their face. Stephanie Kick, CEO of Knife Dive Studio, who specializes in modern remasters of older, often out of print games, told GameIndustry.biz that seeing Nintendo do this is a little disheartening, adding, "You would hope that a company that big, that has such a storied history, would take preservation a little bit more seriously." They don't. I think Stuttering Craig knew someone who went to was it the official Nintendo video game, like Nintendo video game museum or something. They had a system set up to where you could play old school games. He discovered they're emulating it. These people, they do not care. They're hypocrites. They're liars. They go after they get ass mad when people upload ROMs and makes open source emulators of Switch 2s and stuff like that. And then you learn that they're just using emulations themselves. Gosh, just admit, I really wouldn't have a huge big of a problem if Nintendo straight up admitted of yeah, we know. We've taken a lot of we've taken the emulation route. Just admit it. But they don't want to admit it because then the attacks on the people that they go and sue after, while some of it, yeah, justified in dealing with actual illegal stuff is, yeah, but they just, I feel like I've expressed my point enough. So dumb. But this is the big thing, is that they know they will get away with this. They know it. Emulation wins. Manga. Indeed. Emulation. Emulation's the way to go. Emulation, PC versions with modders out there, with mods galore. That is becoming the only way. Like, to me, is becoming the actual true way to one, get games to play on modern technology, and two, actually preserve the game of how it was, like, as close as possible back in the day, and three, actually make it even closer into its purest form by removing censorship, garbage Western localization, and all that stuff. To me, that is the way to go. And why would you not want to go that way at this point? Because the companies don't care about it. Well, in any case, another big news is Grand Theft Auto 6. Got new trailer, new story details. And I saw a little bit of it, but honestly, I really don't care about Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, everything that was shown in the trailer, I think, like, has no gameplay. So here, well, that's my other thing
What you
too.
doing up there?
I'm just fixing some leaks.
Seriously, dude, you got
Okay,
some
I haven't
time
seen
on
this
your
one.
hands. I got some properties with paying tenants.
Oh, that's why you came by?
Just go get me my checks.
See you, Brian. Love you, Jason.
I mean, yeah, it looks realistic. Oh gosh, we're probably gonna get copyrighted right there. Okay, no, it is this. Okay, it is this one. Now, here's the thing. Is this actual gameplay? I don't think it is. So, like, again,
Supposed to be getting out.
this is where I get annoyed with trailers that don't show the gameplay. Like, this should just be expected at this point. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. This isn't special.
Hey,
Like, if you cannot do this with the technology nowadays, you're doing something wrong. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. Again, this just all looks like cutscenes. Now, here's the big question. Remember, like, Grand Theft Auto 3? Remember how, like, stylized Grand Theft Auto is in terms of 3, Vice City, San Andreas? Like, do you get that feeling from the current Grand Theft Auto games? Like, I don't anymore. And I think part of that stylization was, like, part of its charm. And to me, pushing it to the point where everything looks realistic kind of just doesn't make the series what we remember back in the day. Um, yeah, I've seen enough. Like, yeah, it looks beautiful. Congratulations. Like, with today's technology, it should be like that, but whatever. Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked against them. Oh, boo-hoo. But when an easy score goes wrong, they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America, in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida, forced to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. Jason Duval wants an easy life, but things just keep getting harder. Jason grew up around grifters and crooks. Is that really the official background? Grifters and crooks? Oh my gosh. After a stint in the army trying to shake off his troubled teens, found himself in the Keys doing what he knows best, working for local drug runners. What? I went to the army and saw action, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So I got to run with them local drug. Gosh. The games are just modern looking slop. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I mean, I've already fell out of Grand Theft Auto like quite a while ago. Like, I tried to do 5, but I just didn't care. Might be time to try something new. Meet Lucia could be the best or worst thing. Father taught her to fight as soon as she could walk. Life has been coming at her, swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in a Leonida penitentiary. Oh, woman power. Okay, okay. I don't need to read that. Carl Hampton. Okay, so they're literally just giving us information about like the people we saw in the cutscenes. Honestly, I have no interest in reading. Oh my gosh, it just goes on. Yeah, we're not reading that. People want to read it, they can find the new story details over here on Niche Gamer. It has lost its uniqueness and art style. Exactly. I think so too. But there you go. So, Video Game Chronicle also had some information here as well. There you go. Oh my gosh, look at this. Her life was so miserable when she was born. Like the closest thing to the Grand Theft Auto style is literally like these still images kind of give off Grand Theft Auto from the past, but then you just see the gameplay and it's like nothing. Not even close. Oh man. Got some Brad Pitt looking dude here. AI art. It kind of comes close to AI art. After months of speculation, Rockstar confirmed on Friday that the game will now launch in May of 2026. In a statement, company apologized for the delay. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try to exceed your expectation. Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality, excuse me, you expect and deserve. And then Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Rockstar Gamers parent Take Two, state that the publisher supported Rockstar's request for more time to finish off. Well, I don't know what else they need to do, but there you go. I had this open up too. GTA 6 trailer drops with male lead front and center as fans question Rockstar's decision. Wait, what? After months of silence, there's one thing fans can't help but notice. Lucia, the heavily marketed female lead, doesn't show up until over a minute in. I mean, that's kind of stretching it. They already made her the strong woman type, so you know at some point they're probably gonna showcase that actually in the game. So said the focus falls squarely on Jason, male half of the franchise playable duo. Trailer leans hard into a Bonnie and Clyde style partnership, which honestly isn't really Grand Theft Auto type. I don't know, but then again, tried playing a little bit of 4. I tried playing 5. I don't know. Jason appearing far more frequently and getting more dialogues throughout. Lucia's introduction is brief and subdued by comparison, an odd mood given that she had been the centerpiece of Rockstar's initial reveal back in December. Despite the marketing shift, fans flocked to the of course they did. Yeah, 1.3 million likes the first hour. Absolutely insane. A game with everything on the line, $2 billion production budget. Dang, the development alone is said to cost $1 billion, while Rockstar's repeatedly earned making an additional $500 million for global marketing, another $500 million post-launch content, live service streaming, or elements. Going woke concerns still linger. Longtime fans of the franchise remain wary after several high-profile departures at Rockstar, including key writers and creative leads. Questions have surfaced about whether the studio is shifting its tone. Worries that GTA 6 might abandon the series' trademark uh, irreverence. The Rockstar has already quietly censored older titles, includes GTA 5, removing jokes aimed at modern gender politics and identity cultures. Yeah, because they're pussies. For a franchise that's built its empire mocking every corner of society, from politicians to influencers to criminal empires, the idea that satire may now come with caveats have fans on edge. So far, the new trailer offers little insight into where Rockstar will draw the line. Tone still feels bold, visual explosive, the action's pure GTA, but the direction of the narrative, whether it will play safe, remains a mystery. Well, there you go. I'm not really sold on it. We're winding down here. This is a little disappointing. Also coming from that Park Place, Disney's so-called Muppet Vision 3D preservation is just a PR stunt before demolishing Jim Henson's final work. Now, I remember seeing Muppet Vision in 3D when I went to MGM Studios long, long time ago. The Bonnie and Clyde thing would have made a good Red Dead Redemption game. Yeah, that probably would have been a more appropriate place to do it. Disney has begun filming Muppet Vision 3D at Disney's Hollywood Studios ahead of attraction scheduled closure on June 7th, 2025. Oh, wow, that's coming up. Internally described as a filming event archiving Muppet Vision 3D, the effort is being framed as a preservation project to honor the final attraction ever overseen by Jim Henson. But based on what we've learned, this isn't a tribute, it's a farewell brush off. According to posts from Disney Live Entertainment cast members, the event will take place in mid May and will include registered cast members serving as the in theater audience. Oh my gosh. Screw you, Disney. The working title of the effort strongly suggests that Disney is capturing the show for internal archive purposes. It's unclear whether the footage will ever be released to the public. Here's the problem isn't actually preserving anything meaningful. Muppet Vision 3D already exists in full online with dozens of high quality fan recordings available across platforms like YouTube. Some videos even include the pre show and the in theater effects. The company truly wanted to honor Henson's legacy. They would preserve the entire experience, not just film a single performance before the bulldozers move in. This entire move feels more like corporate damage control. Disney recently stated they are, quote, having creative conversations and exploring ways to preserve the film, other parts of the experience for fans to enjoy in the future. How about you just leave it up and respect Jim Henson and everything that he did for you, buttholes? But the statement came only after backlash from lifelong fans. See closure the closure of Muppet Vision as yet another blow to the creative legacy of the parks and of Jim Henson. Truth is, Muppet Vision 3D is being shut down to make room for the new Monstropolis themed expansion featuring a Monsters Inc. door coaster that may excite some younger visitors. How is Monster Inc. still relevant? Do- honestly, why is that still being promoted? I have seen nothing with Monsters Inc. out in the open. So why are they choosing that? That may excite some young visitors, but also means the loss of an attraction that stood untouched for over 3 decades. That was one of the few remaining pieces of authentic Muppet history. Instead of updating it or relocating it, Disney is simply pushing record, patting themselves on the back, and then tearing it all down. There are many ways Disney could have handled this differently. They could have relocated the attraction to another park or international resort, created a permanent virtual version on Disney Plus, the commemorative Blu-ray or collector's edition, the new Muppet theme experience anchored by Muppet Vision, not torn it down in the first place. But none of that is happening. What we're getting instead is a temporary filming session that, at best, gives Disney plausible deniability when future generations ask why the company destroyed Jim project. Don't be fooled. This isn't preservation; it's marketing. I remember reading about like an article on a past show, and yeah, that's bullshit. So here is the ultimate bullshit here, and kind of our main thing. Avatar: The Last Airbender executive explains why the original cast was for apparently a new movie that's coming. And a lot of people are salty because it's straight up racism. But let's read on and see what it has to say. So, Avatar: The Last Airbender is now in the works on a brand new feature film coming next year. And one of the big names behind the scenes explained why the original voice cast won't be returning for their respective roles. Avatar: The Last Airbender has been steadily working on coming to theaters with a brand new entry in the long running saga that will showcase more of Aang's adult life that was only briefly teased during The Legend of Korra, which I stopped after season, pretty much after Amon died. But while new film, will be bringing back the classic show's characters, we're going to have a new cast live. Why be that? Fans have already gotten the first taste of these changes when it was announced that Eric Nam would be joining The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender film as the now adult aged Aang. And the casting director behind the film opened up about the changes to the voice cast. When asked about why that the original cast from the TV series would not be returning to roles for the new film in a Reddit AMA, casting director Jenny Ju explained that there was more of an emphasis for the new film to, quote, match actors' ethnic racial background to the characters they are portraying. No one asked for this. And the retards that did ask for this, that Prozeed guy and all them, are now mad because now the only roles they are getting are roles tied to their ethnicity and racial background, and they're pissed about it. They brought this on themselves, and now they're mad when it actually happens. It's the greatest irony and yet so retarded because it ruined the voice acting industry. But let's be real. The voice acting industry is a complete den of snakes. Of people who think they are B actors when they're like D actors at best. And they only get patted on the back and sucked up to when they go to cons, stuff like that. And that's why a lot of them are being replaced with actual actors, which I actually don't like as well. Because to me, whether you're a union actor, a SAG actor, or non-union, really all of this should just be based on you were the actor for the role because you stood out amongst everybody else. It did not matter what ethnicity you are, what have you. Were you talented and were your skills so out there that you stood out among the rest? Were casted based on your merit and your abilities and your talent. That's it, not your ethnicity. More like the last gender bender. Yep. So the full voice cast for the Legend of Aang, excuse me, the last Airbender is yet to be revealed as of the time of this publication. But the new voice for Aang has sparked the question of why the original voice cast will not be returning to voice their respective characters. Casting director from the film, Jenny Ju, explained that, quote, I told Mike and Byron that I understood how important it was to get this right for them and for the fans because I'm a fan too, also my favorite IP. Elaborating on this further, Ju noted how much time has changed since the original release on the TV series. No one cares. Gosh. Since the original show was released, there's been more emphasis on VO to match actors. That right there shows that you did not understand on how important it is, right? You literally, your own quote, defeated your purpose and any sort of possible good reason you had in terms of making these decisions. Been more emphasis in VO to match actors' ethnical, racial backgrounds to the characters they're portraying. Racist. You're a fucking racist. And according to your guys' side, you should be removed from your position immediately. ATLA is a fictional world, but there are cultural influences for each nation kingdom. It doesn't matter. Dude, why are you trying to declare that, yeah, we know it's a fictional world, but we still need to base it on this world? Like, fuck off. And we wanted to explore the talent from those groups. No, you want to get them handouts. That's another insulting thing, too. Whoops. That's another insulting thing that these people don't seem to understand. Are you going to go back there? This is what these people don't understand. They're saying that by doing this, we're giving them like an opportunity to like showcase, but literally you're giving them handouts and you are basically saying by giving them handouts that they will not succeed because they just are forever damned to be on the low side of things. That's what you're saying. To where when you have, I don't know, this concept of maybe just fucking cast people based on how good they are, their skills, their talent and stuff, then all of the racial problems and ethnicity and ethnic problems just go away because that's not your main focus. This is so dumb. And remember, these are the same people that like try to say that like black people were like apparently a part of everything in the entire world. Like black Vikings, black Asians, all that stuff. Like these people. These are the same people, by the way. In terms of what you could tease about the movie itself, the casting director hopes fans will keep an open mind for the new voice cast. They won't, because your reasoning behind it is retarded. I can't say much more about the film except that I'm really proud of this cast, and I hope the other fans keep an open mind to this new iteration of our beloved characters. You certainly didn't show that how. To me, starting off by saying I'm a huge fan and we need to get this right, and then just saying, "Oh yeah, fuck the original cast. Like, don't even bother with them. We got to make sure that whatever skin color the characters are online, that they're played by the same skin color person." Like, that is such a giant middle finger. Oh my gosh. Not even the fucking courtesy to even. I'm curious if they even reached out to the original cast and were like, "Do you want to do this?" Like, even ask them. I doubt it though, because again, they're too busy focusing on skin color, which is literally racism in its purest rawest form. This is the most hilarious thing that they have yet refused to answer is explain to me how being a racist fights racism. They will never ever be able to answer that question because that would mean that they would have to admit that they are indeed the racist, which a lot of them are. Broken clock is right at least twice a day, so there is that little percentage to where some of them aren't. But as for what has been confirmed, it's scheduled for release in theaters on January 30th, 2026. Produced by Paramount Pictures, Nickelodeon Movies. New film will be overseen by original series creator Michael DeMartino and Brian Conetico or whatever. Yeah, the people who made the series and then had to tack on a bisexual scene at the end and then try to pass it off that it was always in the works when it clearly wasn't. It's yet to be in the Legend of Korra. It's yet to be revealed what kind of story this new film will be tackling. Oh, I'm sure they're gonna have some gay shit in there, but it will be taking place sometime in between the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender and it's the Legend of Korra sequel. Wait, between? I don't know. Again, I stopped watching The Legend of Korra because it just sucks. As for the currently confirmed voice for the film itself, so it stars Eric Nam, Steven Yeun. I know who he is. Dave Bautista. Excellent casting there, guys. Excellent. Let's just get well-established actors to voice characters. Well, also in the same time, trying to say, well, we love the voice acting community, XYZ, and yet you're just never ever going to give people who are just voice actors themselves. I mean, I think it's hilarious and pathetic at the same time. Young Kwan, Jessica Mayton, and Roman Dargarzoa. These roles in the film have yet to be detailed as the time of the publication, but it's likely we'll get more information soon as it gets launched next year. All right, let's see the pussies in here who are like, oh, this is such a good. I completely understand the importance of casting actors whose ethnic and racial backgrounds align with the characters they're playing. But if that's the goal, why not consider Asian actors who speak fluent air? How about you just cast whoever is the best actor? Oh my gosh, so dumb. Creators of Avatar deeply hate themselves and the original actors. They basically bullied Jeanette Varney to apologizing for ever voicing Korra. No, fans are not going to keep an open mind for this. Nobody in real life cares what color the voice actors are. Did this really happen? I don't. And look, like two people got ass mad about. Oh my gosh! Wait a minute. Like, wow. Comic book actually shows you the people who thumbs up and down the video. Okay. Aang rocking that facial hair. Apparently so. did an interview with Dante Bosco, where she groveled and apologized for voicing Kara and said she'd never play the character again and a very much please don't hate me because I'm white kind of. Oh my gosh, what a pussy. Well, based on that, yeah, you definitely don't deserve to come back because you're like you can't based on that alone that you apologized for your whiteness. Oh my gosh. Piss off. A lot of comments though, but I could care less. Hopefully Aang won't become gay. I don't know. They'll probably I'm interested to know if like since this is taking place in between, it's apparent according to that, like what's like how good are these like the creators to like I feel like the creators will probably try to retcon some stuff and then forget what they did in the past series and then we'll be like, "Whoops," you know, because we saw how they handled Korra's stupid bisexuality garbage where uh where apparently just looking at a girl should have been enough information to show that she was like hot for her as opposed to Aang who like had many scenes showing that he liked whatever the girl's name was. But then to justify it by making a still framed picture to showcase, oh yeah, they're gay together, they're bisexual together, or whatever. It's so dumb. But let's end on something nice. I thought this was adorable. A 92-year-old lady still working at Japanese McDonald's. Dang, she's 92 and like, dude, Japanese man, they can live forever. Kamiko Honda or Hyundai, oldest female McDonald's crew member in the Kumamoto prefect in Japan, is 92 years old, and she continues to work at the fast food chain to this day. Honda was recently interviewed and showcased via President.jp for incredible health in her continued work despite her recent back pains, which started 2 years ago when she was 90 years old. Oh, I thought it was I thought like her first job was McDonald's and she just stayed there forever. But still, that's nice though. At the time she decided to quit once her back began to hurt. Shortly after when she went to return her uniform, all the young crew members in their teens and 20s were so happy to see her. Because of this, she decided not to quit because she was still so popular. So she's still working there today. Not only the younger generation or Tamiko, she's well liked by all the crew members of all ages who work at the store. Her kindness towards everyone makes everybody happy, and she's always calm and smiling. What also makes people like her is that she remembers everyone with their various details. She remembers the conversations she had with customers or locals, like someone that lives with their mother or someone that is a child, because she cherishes the relationships with people. People love her back. Also, she never forgets to be grateful every day, and people love her about it. People of her local shopping district also love her. Like one of the cleaners of the stores in front of her McDonald's that goes to see her in the morning. Also, at least of the morning customers at her store are regular customers. Many of them have become good friends with her. Presence of Miko, who cleans up the store every morning, has become an integral part of their shopping district. She holds the title Japanese oldest female McDonald's crew member. A funny title, but it, it it warms the heart. She has been featured in media numerous times. She also receives letters from all over Japan. Young boy that became a fan of Tomiko eventually traveled all the way from Tokyo to her town of Kumamoto. She has even met fans from overseas. Excuse me. While Tomiko's life has had its ups and downs, she hasn't held grudges, nor has she been weak. Instead, she diverted her sorrows and frustration into gratitude and by continuing to change the water from the flowers at her local temple and polishing up the statue. Miko has worked at McDonald's 25 years since he was 67 years old. The secret of Tomiko's everlasting good health. She was 67. Okay, so she was working there for a while. Secret to Tamiko's, they forgot an S in the she. The secret to Tamiko's everlasting good health: eats natto, which is fermented soybeans. She always eats it 3 times a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also, she walks a lot. Says that if you stay at home, your legs and back will be ruined and your bones and muscles will become hardened. Walking is the only way to get healthy. You must move. 92-year-old also does 20 push ups every morning. Damn. Noon and night despite her age. Wow. She also plays soccer with her great grandchildren. Oh, that's cute. Kicking a ball around and doing exercises with. Loves her work, and although she hurt her back, she can still work well, all thanks to her ancestors, God, and Buddha. Well, unfortunately, one of those isn't the, not trying to dampen the mood here. Different versions of God, but there's only one. That's how she's been able to do her best. Despite her focus on staying healthy, Tamiko's favorite food at McDonald's is a cheeseburger. After work, she eats McDonald's and drinks coffee. She also gets nuggies for her great grandchildren. Surrounded by her great grandchildren and great great grandchildren, Tamiko's active life continues. Well, that's adorable. I think that's sweet and swell. Dang. So she did start at 67 years old. Still going to this day. Well, hats off to you, Tamiko. Sound like a lovely person. Wish you all the best. And as we wind down the stream, staying gaming, got some games going on. Your Blaster Master blasting again. Mario Party 3, Dot Hack / Mutilation Part 2, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. There you go. Eve Online, Lucia the Ruins of Lore, Samurai Warriors, PlayStation. Something we could look into. Oh gosh, Van Helsing, R-Type Command, Speed Racer, Project Cars, Hades 2. I heard got woke, so unfortunately I did not play. So not a bad list. Some games I'm kind of interested, like Lufia the Ruins of Lore. Definitely sounds interesting. I think that's an RPG. Samurai Warriors. Definitely Castlevania since I've been playing. What is this? A Musho game? Yeah, beat 'em up. Take a look at the image. Oh, I didn't want to that. They're like no stills. Just these, but they're box shots. Not exactly what I was looking for. Kind of looks like, yeah, definitely looks like your Dynasty Warriors game. So that's cool. Alrighty, I'm signing off for tonight. You guys have a good rest of your night. Tomorrow should be online, but again, schedule might be changing just because we're studying now. But yes, if so, make sure to check me out 8 p.m. Central Time. Until then, God bless, take care, and peace.